All right, let's jump into it. All right, so a lot of new faces this week and a lot of different people right across the industry. So great to see you all in here. Where did this come about? It was actually, an idea that we had after a couple of conversations with a couple of people that are in the room. A lot of people in the real estate industry are doing it a bit tough at the moment, so I thought it was just a good idea for the industry to get around one another. So last week we kicked off. We had Leah Kellman, president of the REIV. We had the great Tom Panos, and we also had Chris Hanley jump on, along with Jason from Homely. Just have a bit of a chat about what's happening in the virtual space on Homely. So it was really good. But I think the most important thing is, it's an opportunity for one another to get around and support each other when chips are down a little bit. So I'm not going to ramble on too much. We've got a couple of fantastic speakers, and I'll introduce Daniel in a minute from the Phoenix Experience. He's got an amazing story, but I think it's a great opportunity. There's a girl that doesn't put herself out there too often, and she's very much keeps to herself, goes about her business, and does an incredible job. She was the 2019 REIV Salesperson of the Year and 2020 REB Metro Sales Agent of the Year in Michelle Stevens. So she's from the O'Brien office in Carrum Down. She's an absolute star, and it's great to have Michelle on. She actually offered it up to jump on and have a bit of a chat. So this is a rare occurrence that we can get Michelle on. So on that note, I'm going to throw to Daniel first. So Daniel has got an amazing story. I'm not going to steal all your thunder, mate. But as a 20-year-old, he had a car accident, was hung upside down for 2.5 hours and nearly died. Went from there to being homeless, roaming through Queensland, to getting on the fitness regime. So Daniel, I'm going to throw it to you, and you can tell everyone your story, mate, and just exactly what the Phoenix Experience is about.
Yeah, thank you so much, Darren, and thank you for the invite. And I really want to acknowledge each and every one of you that are on the call today. I think it's truly wonderful that in these crazy times that you're all coming together and supporting each other and championing each other. It shows just an amazing abundance mindset from you all, and what it means to to have community, and what that means to us in our well-being, our spiritual well-being, our fitness and our health, and all of those different layers that makes us human beings. And I want to acknowledge you all on different levels as well, because every single person on this call has been affected by this circumstance that's been thrust upon us by no fault of our own. Some of you may have enjoyed the lockdown. Some of you might be mums dealing with having professional careers and doing homeschooling. Some of you might be directors or business owners, and you've had to navigate all the different complexities of JobKeeper. You've had to, maybe you've been with family and you've been away from your family for some time. So I just want to acknowledge each and every one of you that we all deal with these things in such a different way. And the fact that you're all coming together on the call to support each other, I think is truly fantastic. And I'm super stoked to be here and spend a little bit of time with you. Darren, you'll just have to give me a wind up when you tell me when I've run out of time, and I'll just keep talking.
Well, mate, you've got about 10 or 15 minutes because we'll jump on to Michelle now. One thing I failed to mention, there's a $100 voucher, Uber Eats voucher from Gavin at Active Pipe for the best question, and there's a $100 voucher to Coles Myer for the wackiest hat, so you can throw your wackiest hats on. But yeah, 10 or 15 minutes, mate, and then once we get through you guys, we'll go around the room and see what everyone's doing. And look, if there's anything that anyone's doing a little bit left of centre that's getting them through this, feel free to throw it in and have a chat. So, I look at this room as a collaboration or a collection of great minds. So let's, jump into it. Sorry, mate. Where you go?
No, that's totally okay. So I'll give you I want to just give a bit of context. Over the last sort of, can't even remember since the first lockdown, I created different talks, and the first talk was about having certainty in uncertain times. And then as we're coming out of the back of the first round of lockdowns, it was all about taking our power back and transcending from what we've went through in the first lockdown and how can we use that to propel ourselves forward in the rest of our lives and careers. And then obviously we've been thrust back into it. And so I was thinking, like, when I've done a couple of talks this week, and I was like, what do we even talk about? Because we're kind of at the start, and this is my belief, and from a few people that had spoken to and clients, they said kind of like the initial round was maybe the pause button that we all needed to stop and think about our family and what matters to us, even though economically it was devastating for all of us. And then I started thinking, well, this next round of lockdown seems to me like, rather than a pause button, I don't know if you've got kids or you've had a 2-year-old, and you know when they get the remote control and they're just hitting the remote control and it's stop, start, stop, start. So it has created this next level of uncertainty, because there is a bit of uncertainty in the media and where we're going. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is a couple of fundamental things that we have as human beings that we need. There's core needs that we must have those needs met. And if we don't have those needs met, it's like we're not having oxygen. And one of those needs is the need for certainty. One of those needs is the need for variety, one's connection, and one's significance. And I'll explain what I mean by that as best as I can in 15 minutes. But we need those needs met in some way, right? And we can have those core needs met in a resourceful way or an unresourceful way. So we can get our needs met, say, like for certainty, through selling a house, through delivering great service with our jobs, through our exercise. All of those things give us, through routine, and gives us a deep sense of certainty. But we can also get the needs met unresourcefully. So if you've got a need for variety and adventure and you're not getting that met in a resourceful way, what do you think are some of the things that some people might do that, and you can just take yourselves off mute, that we could get one of those needs met unresourcefully, like in a negative way? And feel free, just jump out, just have a go.
They've all got stage fright, mate.
Yeah. They're all auctioneers and real estate agents, so they're never normally short of a way.
It was more.
All right, I'll jump in.
The question: what do we need to? Is it what we need to try to do if something's happening in a negative way? Was that what you're saying, Dan?
Yeah. So if you have a think of like if we're getting normally say that if we need to get our need for variety or adventure met by us going out into the wilderness or us going out into the doing the things that we love, but that's been taken away from us, we can have those needs met unresourcefully, right? Yeah. So I'll give you an example. It can be through drinking, right? Like, because it changes our state, like drinking alcohol, because it changes our state, fulfills that need for variety. It can be through promiscuity, things like that. Like, these are like extreme cases. But what we need to understand is that if we have those needs met resourcefully in some way, that takes us, because maybe you've experienced that, some people that I've known, and it's in the media, that there's a lot of problems around domestic violence. And I'm sorry if anyone's going through that, but couples are arguing and there's a lot of like tension at home, because if we're not getting our needs for significance met in a way, we can create drama and things like that in our household. Is this making sense? Just give me a thumbs up and I'll try and like dive in a little bit deeper as we go. But what I want us to realize is that say if you're like, and there's heaps of amazing real estate agents and business owners in this room, what's a big way that you get your significance? Like, what's one of the biggest things that you can do as a real estate or a business owner? What gives you significance?
I suppose sorry, I probably should leave it to an O'Brien's person, but I think everyone is success within success. So you want to make and happiness, but you want your team and your teammates and the people around you. I mean, I think everyone would agree. If everyone's doing well in life, who's around you, especially your own team, everyone's pretty happy. Because your financial doing what you got. Also got the people. There's nothing worse than you do really well and everyone above you everyone beside you is struggling. So I think the fact, and whether it's a footy team or sports team or business team or real estate like we're all in, I think everyone doing well is sort of the goal. So I think everyone's struggling. It is tough. So I think it's finding ways of bringing your teammates, whether it's your family, your work, your teammates up in life. Obviously with work, we want to keep everyone motivated. But yeah, it's keeping each other up. I think human spirit to me is the biggest thing I think struggling at the moment. That's really working out with texts and communication. I don't know if anyone agrees, but communication's key.
Yeah, and thank you so much. I think it's so important, right? So if you think as a real estate, and I'll expand on your point, Matthew, is if you think as a real estate agent and a business owner, one of the big things that would give you significance is closing deals, selling houses. And if you're a business owner, it's creating new business. And if you're a property manager, it's looking after people, that need houses. And that's how, it's not necessarily how we get all of our significance, but it can be a big part of it. So then if that's taken away from you, then like if you have a bad feeling, normally you can just go out, sell a house, feel good, keep moving. And to your point, Matthew, a way that we can get our needs met for significance other ways is to really mentor, support, nurture people around us, making sure, like doing what Darren's doing right now, is getting a group of people together, and that's how he can get his significance and his need for connection met in a way that's resourceful. Is this making sense? Just give me a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Cool. So what I want you to all think about is we all have different variations of what our core drivers or our core needs are. Like for you, it might be you need connection. Like one of your deep core drivers is connection, and connection has been quite taken away from us from a human point of view. So thinking about ways, well, if you realize that you need human connection, how can you get that in a digital world? Even though it's not ideal, how can you actually put things in place to have that need for connection met in a resourceful way?
It's organising things like legally, of course. Let's walk down the beach at a certain time, and at least you get to wave to a friend or a colleague. If you're down Brighton or Elwood Beach, then there's some sort of connection. It's like the simple things in life now. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, so true, Matthew. And who's noticed, maybe you've noticed this, is you're walking down, because I live in Heathmont here, and there's a fair few parks, and we've got Dandenong Creek. Who noticed what's it like when you see another human that you know, whether it's one of the school dads or the school mums or someone that you haven't seen? It's like you stop and it's like you're chatting away, because it's like you haven't seen a human in like, it feels like 50 years.
And who started this? Like, it's funny because everyone's wearing masks. I go for a jog so I can sort of smile, but just the wave has become the smile, because you wear a mask if you walk. So I think just really waving at people like that more than anything. I've now seen people sort of wave back really, instead of just going like that, they're going really excited, because it's just human contact.
Exactly. And any way that we can get our needs met resourcefully is so important, and becoming aware of those things, because we've all been in stages where those old patterns or those old unresourceful behaviors start to creep in. If you've ever had a bad habit or you've had something that you can't shake, then in times of adversity, in times of challenge, some of those old habits start to creep in. Let me know if you've experienced something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's being aware of what those triggers and those drivers are. And I know, like, you're all in the real estate industry and business owners. And I know Tom Panos and I know Matthew Scafidi and a lot of the people from Jealous Craig and from Noel Jones and obviously O'Brien. What's the biggest thing they say when you're in a slump in your real estate business? What do they tell you to do? Tell you to get back to basics. Right? So you get back to basics, and that's how you build yourself up. Michelle's nodding because she's the queen of
prospect.
What's that?
Yeah, I said prospect.
Yeah, so you prospect, right? So from a human behavior point of view, in these challenging times, the best thing that we can get back to as humans is take care of our basic fundamental human needs. the things that work, which is whatever that is for you, which is reading, exercise, meditation, connection with loved ones, talking to people, being open and vulnerable. Those are the basics that if we go back to those from a fundamental human behavior, that allows us to give the certainty to take us through these really uncertain times. Cool. And what I do is the same way you do it in your real estate. I know that the real estate industry is very big on systems and processes and checklists. I literally have it, and it sounds very mechanical, but it works. And I did this just only through COVID to protect my mindset. Was I just have a list of the top 11 things that if I do those 11 things during the day, I know that I'm going to have a good day no matter what the government throws at us, no matter what clients cancel, no matter what happens. And that you can always come back to that list, whatever that list is for you. Some of you might be musicians. Some of you like to read. Some of you like to meditate or go for walks. I know Jason, he's doing like 30K circumference laps around his neighborhood on his bike because that's as far as he can go, right? So like if that's what you can do, that's going to give you a consistent mindset. It's like baking a cake. If you sort of kind of put the ingredients of the cake in at the same order, the cake turns out pretty good each and every time. And it's the same thing with our mindset and our emotional well-being. If we do the same things consistently, we get a consistent mindset throughout the day. And that helps us deal with the complexities of business owners because you're managing your team, you're managing emotions, you're managing your own business. And there's so many different complex layers of what it is to be a leader in business and in life. So I trust that helps. I think that's my 20 minutes up.
So Dan, you know, look, I've been making a lot of calls through the day and a lot of people that I haven't spoken to for a long while. And, you know, it seems to be at the moment, you talk about that connection piece and Matt was talking about, you know, the waves become the new smile. But it seems to be when you ring someone you haven't spoken to for a while, they're really embracing that and really wanting to have that conversation. I suppose, what are the three things you'd recommend everyone in the room to do on a daily basis? You know, like this whole thing isn't about egos or agendas. That was one thing when we started this. It was more about bringing the industry together and being there for one another. And I said openly last week, my phone's on. If you need a conversation in confidence, the phone's on. I'm happy to take anyone's call at any point in time. I never turn it off. That's me. But I suppose, what are the three things that you'd recommend to people? You know, is it more connection or?
I think it's the three things that take care of your emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being. So
Right.
whatever those are for you. For me, it's family time. It's exercise. Like I do gratitude and meditation every morning and affirmations. I never used to be one of those people that meditated up until about 4 years ago. And then just exercise and connection.
Cool. So just going back, you never really touched on your story. So for everyone that's in the room, you know, talk to us about the early years, what happened and what sort of led you to start the Phoenix experience.
Well, as you know, like I had pretty much everything going for me when I was 19 years old. I had a really good job. I had more money than I could even spend in a week, and I tried. I had a beautiful girlfriend and a car, apartment, everything. And then a friend of a friend drove us off a bridge at 100 kilometers an hour and left me with all my neck shattered, my back broken. I've got steel plates in my neck and both my arms and half my leg, like my calf muscle burn. And I eventually learned to walk again. And then I was so messed up in the head that I just decided just to leave everything behind. I walked out of my girlfriend, my car, everything, and just went walkabout in North Queensland on a bit of soul searching. And I was so skinny that people thought I was a heroin addict, which I wasn't. And they'd try to get me to get off heroin and give me pamphlets to find God and all of those things. And that led me on the path of personal development and rebuilding my life. And then sort of 5.5 years ago, I decided that I wanted to take busy successful people on life-changing experiences in the mountains before they had some kind of metaphorical train wreck in their life, whether it was divorce or a health scare or redundancy or something like that. And yeah, that led me to create some experiences where I take people into the mountains, and then led me down the path of speaking and becoming a trainer and a motivational speaker. And yeah, it's been a crazy ride learning to do all of those things, but I've been very fortunate enough to help people turn their lives around and make a huge impact. And yeah, it's been very fortunate enough to meet amazing people in the real estate industry like you, Darren, and obviously Dean and Jason and both Jasons, the whole team, and Stavros at O'Brien as well, and some of the Jealous Craig and Noel Jones team. And yeah, it's been a phenomenal journey, and yeah, just want to support and help people with their mindset as best I can, especially in these crazy times. And I've been very fortunate to do lots of Zooms to do what I can.
Can I ask a question? Is there anyone in the room that's done the Phoenix experience? I know Dean O'Brien's in there. I know Dean's done it, but I don't know whether he's...
It's teams, I like the whole One Turner team.
So he's probably having a scotch at the moment. Dino, do you want to give your take on having done the Phoenix experience?
Yeah, thanks, Hutch. I obviously went up with Daniel up to the Cathedral Ranges. We got up early, travelled out with our One Turner team, and obviously for me, it's my hometown up there, up in Alexandria. So to do the Cathedral, walk the hill, you're in complete silence as you walk up. You're watching every step. You're hearing every breath. You're actually fully concentrating on every move, the people around you. You're doing it as a core team. Then you get to the top, and then Daniel takes you through a series of exercises. You see it well above the clouds. You're in one of the most beautiful parts of Northeast Victoria. And he challenges you on what really reality is, and he challenges you on really what you want out of life. And you play that part as a corporate group. And then we come back down, and we had a lovely lunch, but it just continued to go. And it was like the world stopped for that day. I mean, the morning, as you said, when we're all meeting at the bottom of the Cathedral Ranges, and we're all talking about not experiencing it, but yet you could hear every breath. No one spoke. You could hear every movement. It was just absolutely. And as you get up to the top, you feel that, I'm sure people that do hiking and a lot of people that actually do a lot of this stuff, but I think it was the exercises at the top that we sat down, we challenged, we openly communicated with each other. We all become vulnerable. And it wasn't a kumbaya moment as such. It was very corporatized. So it was fantastic. And I've often said to a lot of my team, and we've gone back, we'll do it again, obviously, when we're allowed to, and et cetera. But yeah, to Daniel, thank you for that. I know the One Turner team loved it. We just sort of got caught up in the world of busyness, and you took us away from it. So that was pretty much what it was.
Yeah, thanks, Dean. It's I really appreciate that, and it's just the combination of walking up in the dark without speaking. It gives us that chance for us to let the old world behind and re-enter the new world, and it's just that it's a great space to be at, and it's something that we all need from time to time is a reset button. And I'm going to put a link in here to there's a Rewrite 2020 document that I created for my clients, and it's like a 28-page workbook to put things in place and to maybe you might need to reinvent some areas for who you are and who you're becoming out of the back of this craziness as well. So I just popped that in the link as my gift to you all. And I think it's so important, especially in these crazy times.
Fantastic. I've got a question here from Andy Reid. So how are you managing to maintain solid emotional connections when the key physical element's not there? How have you best replaced that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm very fortunate enough to have a wife and two beautiful boys in the home. So I do feel that helps a lot. I do lots of coaching and lots of mentoring and lots of Zoom sessions like this. For me, that's a great way to get the connection. It's not the same as that physical connection, but I feel the more that we're open with who we are and who we're becoming and being open with our feelings, also being super positive about the future, because we know that old saying that misery loves company, and it even though it's true at this stage, it doesn't help us any. So I think that what you're doing here and how you're all coming together, like, that goes a long way to take care of that human need for connection. But it also goes to, it's also like what I said before is, you know, when you walk down we did an hour lap around our suburb with the boys yesterday, and we saw one of the school mums, and we were like just chatting like we were long lost friends that haven't seen each other in 20 years. So we are still starved for that human connection. And I really feel for anyone that sort of doesn't have anyone around them. And I do encourage you, like obviously Darren said his phone's on, and I'm more than happy for anyone to reach out to me for a chat as well, because we do need that. And don't wait till it's kind of too late. As always, just keep the conversation going. Hopefully that answers the question, Andy.
Fantastic, mate. Thank you so much. And I'm sure you'll be on here next week. If anyone's got any questions, they can think about them and throw them up next week as well. So thanks so much. Much appreciated. All right.
Just hang around and listen to Michelle.
Absolutely. Michelle, I gave you a bit of an intro before, but, you know, you got a fair trophy cabinet there. You're starting to look like Sampras with all the trophies. So 2019 REIV Salesperson of the Year, 2020 REB Metro Sales Agent of the Year. As I said, this is a real treat for everyone because Michelle doesn't really put herself out too often, and you know, she's got an amazing story. So I'm going to throw over to you, Michelle, and tell us a little bit about you and where you work and what you're doing and what you're doing with your team.
Awesome. Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Michelle. I work for O'Brien Real Estate in Carrum Downs. My director is Stavros. He is on here somewhere. I've worked with O'Brien Real Estate for about 6.5 years now. So obviously really kind of got in there, got into my patch, and people really start to know you. So it's a lot of obviously referral business and everything like that now, which is brilliant. So obviously I couldn't do what I do without having an amazing brand behind me and an amazing support team as well. So I think in the last financial year, I just did just over 200 transactions. So so we're nice and busy. So obviously I've got my team. We're really trying to stay motivated as much as possible in these times and everything like that, as I suppose everyone's trying to do. It's, definitely uncharted waters that no one's been in or anything like that. So I think it's, just really important to try and stay as motivated as possible at the moment, and there will be light at the end of the tunnel for everyone. So, yeah.
So, Michelle, over 200 transactions, you've just turned 30?
Yep. So I had my 30th birthday in ISO.
Wow.
So, cool.
I won't tell you what one I had, but more than that. But so how
doesn't exist because I didn't really get to celebrate. So I'm still 29.
Still 29?
Yeah,
cool.
still 29.
So how many in the team, and what have you got your team focusing on at the moment?
Okay, so in my team, there is myself and 3 full-timers, and I have 2 part-timers as well. So with myself, I'm just really trying to stay with vendor nurturing and vendor management because I think, as you said before, like some people aren't lucky to have people that live at home with them and things like that. So, obviously quite lonely for some people. So even if it's not even really talking real estate, because there's nothing to really, unfortunately, talk to them about at the moment, and it's very repetitive. It's just, a matter of going, well, if you're lonely, just pick up the phone and let's have a chat. Like, we don't need to talk about your house, just someone to be on the phone to. So I'm just really trying to stay on top of, just talking to my vendors and nurturing them and just organising the properties that are coming on after we come out of lockdown. I've got Jay that is my team leader. So she's really doing all the things that we're allowed to do at the moment. So you hand over, obviously, for keys, your final inspection. So she's busy running that. And just touching base with my team and everything to make sure they're in the right headspace and doing what they're meant to be doing. I've got Bree, that is my marketing girl. So she does like my full-time marketing. So she's just getting on top of anything that's going to be coming on the market after lockdown, organising, booking any styling, etc. And just kind of getting on top of anything that we don't really have time to do. So updating any review brochures and things like that normally would just be ordering the last one, because it's kind of, very time consuming and things like that. So when we come out of lockdown, we've got some good marketing material and everything. We've got Kirsty and Michelle Ferguson that's just really trying to get on top of like the database and things like that. So I've got Fergie that's talking to pretty much everyone that I've ever sold a house to in the last 6.5 years. So there's obviously a fair few of them. Kirsty's doing a lot of database cleanup. My husband works with me full time as well. So me and him are just really, any buyer inquiries, going through a lot of people that had been through properties in the last couple of weeks, seeing if we can pull anything together. I've got a couple of off the plan things as well. So seeing if we can try and stir up any interest on those. So yeah, and just kind of trying to build morale and just recharge. I sound a bit silly because I've a bit sick, so I think it's kind of go, and then I think if everyone can appreciate that all of a sudden you stop and your body kind of goes into a little bit of shock. So just try and recharge and be ready to go again, really. So yeah, because I think we're gonna have a very nice big quarter for the back half of the year. So I think everyone's just got to kind of look after themselves and recharge and be ready to come out of the stalls running. So yeah.
So good opportunity to refresh, recharge, rejuvenate. And
yep.
Have you been doing any of that rejuvenating in the pool like your crazy husband?
No, he's just crazy doing that. So he actually hasn't done that today. He's on here. So Lenny, make sure you jump in the pool once we finish.
Actually,
so yeah.
Lenny, are you there, Lenny?
Yeah, I'm here.
I think you might have to get your kid off, mate, and jump in the pool for everyone at the end.
Yeah, I'll see. I've already had someone else message me saying I'm a bit late on posting something, so I'll get onto that later.
Yeah, and by the way, don't Robbie Iwise and yourself, don't bother trying to get me hooked in on this sort of thing. It's not going to happen. So just definitely not going to happen. Have we got questions for Michelle? Team, anyone want to throw a couple of questions at Michelle?
Yeah, Michelle, I've got a question for you. Hey, it's Sam here. How you going? Good. Hey, mate, I'm just curious to know how often are you communicating with your team during lockdown, and what kind of rhythm are you staying in terms of that? Just that your personal team. What are you doing to keep them connected, motivated, and in touch with not only you but the market? How often you meet?
Well, we did, when we first went into lockdown, we did your video meeting and everything like that. I think the hard thing with that is that everyone has, different lives and different lifestyles of being up early or this, that, the other, and with children, etc. So we've always, through my team, we always run like a messenger chat. So even, we haven't kind of stopped that. So any communication of going, unlock this client or contact, or pop that in there, and how you're finding the new laptop, and just random things like that, just in Messenger a lot. Obviously phone calls and things, but yeah, so a lot of just really Messenger. So yeah,
cool.
Trying to stay in touch with everyone and everything. Probably should do more Zooms and things like that, but yeah. So yeah, really Messenger.
Awesome. And with your vendors, getting them ready for the next stage of, when we get out of all of this, what's the general sentiment that you're finding, and how are you managing them? Are you trying to set people up for a big launch as soon as you get out, or are you kind of feathering your pipeline out for the next 90 days so you've got some consistent workflow? How are you?
It's depending on kind of where they are in their campaigns, I suppose. I think I've got 8 or 9 ready to hit the market pretty much the first week that we come out. I think we've got probably 7 lots of photos for those. I'll have some vendors that are already going, we want to pull the trigger, we want to go on the market now. And I'm like, I just kind of, yes, we can talk to people, and yes, we can sell something you mean virtually in a sense, but I just think that would be killing their marketing campaign. I don't think I'd be doing justice for them. So it's more kind of just keeping them back, going, okay, well, let's, once we know more, let's maybe plan on launching start of September. So at least we're 2 weeks out, and then we can really start to build up of anyone that's inquiring and things. My vendors that are currently on the market at the moment, just saying, well, I've had some people say, well, we come off the market. Like, that's just silly. Like, well, realestate.com at the moment, if you've done your premier listing, they're offering the extra reboosting anyway. So from the start of March to the end of September, so we can effectively be a premier online for 120 days. So I'm saying you've got to be effectively out in the public. Like, if you're not on the internet, I can't sell a secret. So let's not make a judgment call of thinking just because I'm not getting calls doesn't mean someone's not looking at your house. We're better off being online. So I'm just really trying to keep anyone that I've got still online, still having, faith in a sense, and just, saying, look, we're better off being online, because I think once your JobKeeper and things like that finishes next year, maybe middle of next year, probably be a completely different marketplace. So let's try and, get yourself in the best position to get a result this year. So, yeah.
Cool. Ron,
trying to keep their morale going as well, in a sense. Yeah.
Ron, you had your hand up.
Could I ask?
Hey, Archie, just a quick question, Michelle. It's obviously with the lockdowns and so forth going on, what kind of dialogue are you using with buyers to get them to commit to contract now?
Look, I wrestle with this, like, in a sense that it's kind of depending on their circumstances and everything. I've got pretty much a list of anyone that's anyone that's calling me. You'll find a lot of people, and I think everyone can appreciate that a lot of people won't buy something sight unseen. So I'm just really making sure I've got a real buyer's hit list, because if they've inquired on something through lockdown, they're eager to buy. So I think once we know that 100% as of the 14th of September, we're going to be out, I'm going to be calling those people, I'm going to be booking them in. Like, me and my team are like, I'm going to hate to see those first few days after lockdown. It's going to be crazy. But yeah, so just really trying to make sure that I'm keeping in communication with them. Look, I got an offer yesterday on a property. A gentleman, he has sold, he wants to make an offer sight unseen, unconditional. To me, like, at the end of the day, we work for our vendor to get the best result for them. And if someone's wanting to buy it sight unseen, well, I'm not here to say no. So yeah, we might pull together our first sight unseen, but I don't really think we're going to see too many of them. That's why we're trying to work a lot on the developments as well, because at the end of the day, they're always buying air, they're buying the dream, they're buying what we can only show them what we normally can show them anyway. So that's why I'm really trying to focus on the developments in a sense and see if we can sell some of those at the moment.
Pretty cool.
Did that answer the question?
Darren, can I ask a question, if that's all right?
Of course you can. Go for it.
Yeah, I've just put the hat on to just put my hat in the ring against some of the great hats I've seen there. So obviously I want to try to get the voucher off O'Brien's. But I wanted to say...
It's nothing to do with O'Brien, mate.
Sorry. I just wanted to say congratulations, Michelle. And you...
Oh, you muted yourself, Matty.
Sorry. I just wanted to say congratulations to Michelle. I just wanted to ask back to pre-COVID, Darren. Michelle, how did you, 200 listings and sales, what sort of work were you doing to do that?
Look, I came out of, hence I think I'm sick. I've come out of my busiest month in real estate. So I think we ended up I sold 34 properties personally. So there's a whole lot of transactions in there. So look, I constantly probably sit at around about that kind of 18 to 20 pre. At the moment, like, I've sold 4 this month. So like if no one feel like that you're not really doing anything. I know I've gone, like, I'm like far out. Seriously, I'm going to have like my worst month in real estate, but it is what it is. Can't really do much about it. So, and I just think just trying to, once again, like, go off like a little firecracker once we get out of it. So, yeah.
But for agents trying to get better, what were the main things you were doing? Was it prospecting, networking? How did you get to that?
Me? Look, And that's why I'm trying to really get a couple of my guys focusing on my database, because that's one thing that I just don't do. And like, that's really bad. So look, a lot of my business is from referral business. That's kind of where I've got to now, just really working my boards, making sure I'm working like anyone that comes through an open home. I pretty much know what you've had for breakfast effectively. If you've got a house to sell, I'm selling it. You're not going anywhere else. So yeah, like I'm excited to see kind of with really kind of honing in on those past clients and stuff like that, where we could take ourselves to in the next 12 to 18 months in a sense. And I always refer to we, because like, as I said, I couldn't do it without my team. But like I primarily focus on listing, selling and negotiating, looking after all client, all vendor care and stuff like that. That's what I do. But yeah, so just really referral business is kind of where I've got to, where I'm at now. And I look, honestly, like a really good brand behind me as well.
Now,
Awesome.
Michelle, there's a question here from Lisa Page. Do you think you'll need to expand your team when you come out of lockdown to keep up with the demand?
Look, we started getting to the stage, in a sense, like obviously it's very hard with going into COVID and things like that. I think there's a whole lot of uncertainty and everything. Like, I mean, we were nice and busy, had the busiest month in real estate, but then the next month we're shut down. So I think it's quite concerning territory, and I don't think we're going to see the end of COVID for quite some time. I think unfortunately COVID's here to stay, and we potentially could go into stage 4 lockdown again. You mean we could get out, it could get better and have a good 3 months, and then we're back sitting in exactly the same spot. So I think I'd probably be reluctant to grow my team at the moment. I just really want to kind of focus on looking after our clients and stuff, and if it just means working longer hours at the moment, unfortunately that's kind of what we've got to do. So yeah.
Now, Gavin from Active Pipes just put in here, you get a $100 Uber grog voucher for having to work with Stav. You'll also get a couple of hundred battered Savs and a couple of hundred potato cakes too, Gav, won't you?
What's that for?
That's
There's a bit of a story behind that. We actually threw Gavin under the bus at the bushfire appeal, and he ended up getting $1,500 worth of hot dogs and battered Savs that he didn't want. So he's a great sport, and you've just scored yourself a $100 Uber grog voucher for having to work with Stabs. So there you go.
Yeah, settle down. Michelle, can you
for dealing with me?
Look, it's funny. Michelle and I talk on a regular basis, and we keep driving each other. As do most of the people we work with. But Michelle, what I'd like you to probably talk to everyone about is how you replenish yourself. Like, I know Thursdays is a non-negotiable. Forget about stage 3 COVID, where things, we're heading into stage 4, you had to give up your Thursday and work. But apart from that, can you explain to everyone why is it so important? What do you do with your personal development, your mindset on a Thursday? Why is it so important? And who have you lost business because of it, and who takes on the business? Like, yeah, I think that's so important what you do.
Yeah, I've always, like, even when I was first starting, like, in the industry and everything, and I've had past directors, not Stav. Stav's amazing, by the way. Thanks, Stav. But like, I've had past directors say, like, no, you can't have your 2 days off in a week. It's a day and a half a week, or it's, your 6 days and you just get your Sunday off. I've always, it's a non-negotiable. I'm having 2 days off a week. Like, I know and energy and effort I put in, and I really need to have that extra day during the week to recharge, etc. So it's really important. I see my nan. I see someone for personal development, so I can just literally sit there and go bleh, and which is really good. Like, it's someone that's not related to work or anything like that. A third party, I think that's really good for people, just for mindset and everything, just to kind of snap you out of it and put you back on the right track. My husband Lenny takes my work phone, so I have my 2 phones, which is brilliant. So I don't like, obviously I always check my emails, and I'm always like that. And when I get my phone back, I'll negotiate anything from the day and stuff. But a Thursday, I don't have my ringing phone. It's just my day to see my nan, do all that stuff, go out for lunch and everything. So yeah, it's real, like, never been negotiable. I'm having my Thursdays off.
Can you tell us what you did yesterday? You're stuck in an ATM. What were you doing and who were you doing it for?
Oh, my grandparents. I was on the phone to Stav and I'm like, I've got to go, Stav. I'm trying to get cash out for Pop because it's their 60th wedding anniversary tomorrow. So it's a diamond anniversary. So I'd organised from one of the jewelers and stuff. Obviously they're closed at the moment. So Pop's organised Nan a little diamond pendant. So he's got that for her. So I was organising picking that up and dropping that to them yesterday. It's caregiving, so I am allowed to do it. And then today, before here, I'm actually running around organising a couple of things for Nan to give to Pop tomorrow for their wedding anniversary. So yeah, they mean the world to me. And yeah, yeah.
So with Michelle, guys, if everyone wants to know, it's actually human first, people first. She's along with. It's funny how our top performers. I don't know if Tanya's in the room as well. They really focus on their customer care programs and they really focus on their people. And I think it's great. The other thing that Michelle does and Tanya does. I was talking to one of our ladies in the group today, and they were saying how much support there is for the ladies. The ladies all support each other. There's a lot of industries where they get catty with each other, but this is what I'm just repeating what I was told today, that the support from all the women in real estate at the moment has been really amazing. So keep it up, ladies. So well done.
On that note, we're going to let you go, Michelle. Lenny, get your kit off, mate. You'll be in the pool at the end of it, hopefully. But no, look, Michelle, you're a star. So thank you for jumping on and hang around. We're gonna whip around the room a little bit, guys. So I was having a bit of a chat yesterday to Greg Baring from Woodards. Greg, what are you doing at the moment, mate? You've started up a classic car page for real estate agents. What happened?
Thanks, Darren. Welcome all. Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. If anyone knows me, I'm a mad petrol head. I've got a few classic cars and bikes, and I was just bored, honestly, one morning, I jumped on Facebook and I noticed there wasn't any sort of group or community for classic cars. So I just started a group, and the next day looked at it and there was 1,000 people on there, and now it's about 6 days in and it's about 2,000 people, and it's crazy, like all the posting and all that sort of stuff on there. It's great. I love it. Everyone's jumped on board and posting their cars, and they're not just bloody old Commodores or anything. There's like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, 911s, all that sort of stuff. So sorry to bore anyone who's onto their cars, but yeah, I think there's definitely obviously a niche in what's happening at the moment in Victoria, in Melbourne, for communities to get together off the back of what Dan was saying before. I was going to jump in and say that as well. So obviously a bit of a niche. I get benefit out of joining something like that and making something like that happen. I don't want any financial gain out of it. It's more about me just being a part of it and starting it up and go from there. So yeah, I'm getting a real kick out of that. It's something to do on the side. Work's slowly picking up this week, and I'm sure everyone else is seeing the same thing. But I'm just doing a little bit of branding on the side of that, and going to organise a cars and coffee once we're all out, which would be cool. So anyone wants to join, more than happy. I'll share the group link with you all afterwards if you like.
Predominantly real estate agents?
It started with real estate mates. What's his name? A couple of guys I used to work with in Manningham Way, and then obviously a few guys in Burundara. Then I think they shared it with their clients, and then all of a sudden there's all this crazy multiple car owners, sharing the photos of the cars and that sort of stuff. So it's just another element. But yeah, I think it started with agents, and now it's probably gone out to clients. Just basically guys.
How classic?
That's cool.
How classic is a classic car?
Stab, that's a great question, mate, and that is a very, very touchy subject at the moment. I've got a good mate who put up a VN Commodore the other day, and it's pretty nice, but the argument is that classic? And I'm not going to put any boundaries in at this point in time. It's just, let's just to give you an example. There's a guy that put in a Mazda 323. It was brown, it had no engine, and I thought, nah, that's not classic. You're out of the group. But if you've got a car that you put some love into, and then maybe that'll probably win the day. So. It's early stages at the moment.
I've got a good selection of Commodores, mate. I've got 7, so there you go.
Mate, you're in.
Unbelievable. Well,
I'll share.
Gav from Active Pipe. I was
just going to say I'll share the group in the message if you like.
Yeah,
you go for it.
Max Martinucci. He's going to post his E30. So That's pretty cool. And, you know, the response has obviously been fantastic. So well done, mate. Well done. Matty,
Yeah, thanks, Darren.
what are you up to in lockdown?
Mate, I have been working hard. I think we're week 3 now, but this week I've decided to have a 2-week break. So I'm just trying to disconnect with the real estate world. I know it sounds bad because it's probably the opposite. But, mate, I haven't had really a breakthrough. I worked all the way through last year from July through Christmas with a week off. So mentally, I was pretty cooked pre-COVID stage 4. And I've done a couple of deals over the last few weeks, which I've been fortunate. There've been blocks of land where I didn't need to go in and take through buys. So to the other agents here, it's good to do deals, I think, that you can do where people don't have to go through. So I was able to sell one off market in New Street, Brighton, which was, the guy walked past it, he got the 32, checked if there's any trees and did a deal. So, mate, I'm just trying to do stuff I wouldn't be able to do, hang out with the kids, watch some movies with them, eat junk food. Because when you eat junk food, you don't have the energy. And I shouldn't say this, I feel terrible because 48 weeks here, I'll eat healthy and well and train and really structured. But I'm just trying to do, but if you eat junk food, you don't have the energy to put a 10-hour day. So I'm actually just trying to do things that I would never do during business time. So I'm just hanging out with the kids and, you know, only exercising 4 or 5 times a week just for 2 weeks instead of every day and stuff like that. Family time, hanging out with the wife, just that sort of stuff, mate. And also then I'll be back ringing up guys and just checking in.
Pretty cool. Peter Clark from Warrigal, next RE up in Warrigal. What are you up to, Clarky?
Well, mate, we're a little bit fortunate than many in the room. We're still in stage 3, so we've got some business still operating, which has been good. But with 60% of our buyers coming from metropolitan Melbourne, the handbrakes come on pretty quick this last 2 weeks. So, mate, we're doing whatever we can to stay happy and sane, you know. And I don't know, for the business owners in the room, you know, I felt like I've become Dr. Phil this last 6 months, you know, constantly, whether it's clients or the team, looking after their emotional state, and listening to Dan was really interesting. But I distract myself, mate, by trying to keep fit myself. I've just gone and built a whole new CrossFit gym in the back of my garage. So I'm trying to keep myself as entertained as I can to distract sitting down in my home office as much as I am. But mate, we're a bit, you know, listening to Michelle, we were the same. We came off probably the best month we'd had in probably 18 months. We did 45 deals last month, our team, and we've done 20 this month, and it's been great. But those stock levels are declining. So we're just trying to focus on our guys renewing their energy a bit again. I'm trying to get the guys to work mornings and knock off in the afternoon, because let's face it, they are anyway. They're working from home. So if you think they're doing 8-hour days, we've got another thing coming. So getting them just to tune in when they can and then zone out and spend some time with their family, so that I think it was either Michelle or Sam said, I agree. I think we're going to come out on the tail end of this stage 4 and hopefully stage 3 for us. I think we're going to see a really big last quarter. And, you know, we spoke to our team about it, and it could be big for one or two reasons. It could be big because the market goes bananas, or it could be big because there's just not the volume of transactions there that we're used to, and we're going to have to work harder than ever before to bring some deals together. So getting ourselves into that right mindset so that we are feeling energized on the other end of it is sort of been what we've been doing. And, you know, for some of us, that's building bloody CrossFit gyms in our backyard, and for others, that's getting on the red wine. And for blokes like me, it tends to be a bit of both. But, mate, we're happy and we're surviving, and we feel for you guys. It's, you know, we can at least get out a little bit more than you guys are. And, you know, I've speaking to a fair few of you down there, and you seem to be holding up bloody well. It's impressive, to be honest. It's been really, really great to watch.
Scott Bremner from Estate Manager Realestate.com. I'm going to unmute you, Scotty. You got any announcements for us? Are you doing anything a little bit left to centre? And by the way, he's actually one of the good guys. So
thank you. No, look, I think as a company, we've wanted to get behind the industry as much as we can, and I think, you know, the support we've put in place with re-upgrading and pausing campaigns and allowing vendors to put their listings back on at a later date, you know, giving discounted subscriptions and stuff like that. you know, we're in this as much as you guys, so we've tried to sort of get behind the industry. I think for me personally, routine is important. So I've got a staffy who needs a 7K walk every morning, so I'm up at 6 a.m. back at home having a Vegemite toast coffee, and I'm at my desk at 8:30. So I've got a team of 25 in Victoria who have been working from home for nearly 100 days now. So my challenge is to keep them sort of upbeat and motivated and energized. But, you know, the theme that I've heard a bit throughout tonight has been connectedness. And at REA, we have weekly town halls where our CEO, Owen Wilson, that is actually his name, we'll give a company-wide town hall about what's happening from a market perspective. We get sales highlights, product initiatives, customer feedback, stuff like that. So just really keeping it transparent and really keeping connected. And we've tried a few things with teams, trivia nights, cooking sessions. Just it's all about, you know, keeping them upbeat and motivated, because it's, you know, we, like you guys, we're in a people business, and we love being out in front of you, our customers, as you like being out in front of vendors and buyers, and that's been a challenge. So, but you know, we're remaining resilient. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. So, yeah, really appreciate the support, and it's great to be part of this forum. It's a great forum. So well done, Touchy, and keep going to everyone. Stay safe and reach out to each other and keep connecting with one another. I think it's great.
Well said. Thanks, mate. Sam,
Darren, boss as well. One of the great men, Scotty Bremner. The only time he got upset with me was when I took you for lunch. Scotty, you can tell this story. You said, Matt, why did you have 11 beers at this lunch? And I said, actually, Darren Hutchins and O'Brien's had 10 and I had 1. A true story at the Richmond. Remember that? Scott was my boss at REA Group pre being an agent.
I think it was 2 beers, Matty. I don't think it was 10.
You're a lot healthier now. I say it with utmost respect. It was a Friday lunch, Darren. I was trying to get you to spend more money with REA Group as an account manager for Scott. And yeah, I think 9 or 10 beers in a 3-hour session, I don't think you do anymore.
I think I was heading to the 40, mate. Sam Regoblis, what are you up to, mate?
Hey, mate. How you going?
Good.
Good. What am I up to? I'd love to say heaps, but not a lot. I'm just taking advantage of the downtime, really, more than anything. Bit like Matty, I'm just trying to find time to do the things that I wouldn't normally do. I reckon we were so hard at the ball in the previous 6 months, trying to make up for opportunities, maybe trying to, you know, make sure we didn't miss anything in case we went into another lockdown. That the anxiety and there's a lot of stress and a lot of things that happen to you mentally and emotionally that you don't realise until you kind of have the time to reset. And things like keeping a regular routine and rhythm. And I've just tried to use the last couple of weeks not to put deal pressure on myself, but to try to remind myself of the things that work well for me in my life. So I've started meditating, I realised I was journaling as an example for a long time. And the last time I journaled was late last year. And so I thought, well, there was a good habit for me. It kept my mind clear and kept me fresh. And I thought I'll pick that up again, which I've started to do in the last few days. Meditation again, pick that up again in the last few days. But also just sleeping, like to sleep without the alarm clock going off. Geez, like far out, you can just go and go and go, right? Like it's how much sleep?
Sammy's sleeping, and how good is it to watch TV and not feel guilty?
I've downloaded the whole series of Sopranos to watch that again.
You've got Tony Soprano's hat on today too, so well done.
Taking inspiration from him. So just little things like that. That's what I've been doing. The team is staying connected through 2 or 3 Zoom calls a week to make sure we're doing things. But I'm just not putting pressure on anyone, and just letting people get through this period in their own way. And for me, it's just I want to get to the other end feeling refreshed, energized, and ready to knock it out of the ballpark. Clarkey said, and Michelle, I think we're going to be busy when we get to the other side. So I want to be ready for it.
All right, we've got. We're running a little bit over time, but I'm going to throw one more. But can you put your hats on? I've had Helen from Direct Connect send me a message. Get your hats on, because she's got to choose a winner. So, Helen, if you can choose your winner. Oh, good Lord, what is that, Phil? And I'm throwing to Phil. So, Phil DeFagley, what are you up to?
This is my son's hat, actually, Darren. I had to look around for a hat, and that's what I got. It was the closest thing I could find. Yes, it's appalling, isn't it? Absolutely appalling. What are we doing? Well, really, it's connection, and I really like what Dan was talking about, the connection, because that's really what it's been about for me. I work by myself, but I work with a lot of people, so staying in touch with everyone is really critical. March 13 is indelible in my mind because we do a lot with not-for-profit, and that's when every event got cancelled for the year. So bang, that was a big part of what we do was just gone. So that was we just wiped the calendar clean. So that's all stopped. And then, but what I'm finding now is we're seeing more and more happening online. And one of the questions I did have for Michelle was that what percentage, or is she doing any Zoom prospecting calls? Is that something you're utilising?
Look, I'm not really. Like, it's probably similar to what Sam and Matt said before. Like, I'm really just trying to focus on my vendors I've got at the moment, talking to them, talking to anyone that's going to be coming up, any buyer inquiries I get, etc. Versus like if someone call me, like I'll suggest to do like a Zoom appraisal and things, but I'm just, like you're just so go and then not have a break, except that you're like, I don't really have the mental capacity at the moment, to be completely honest. Like it's just a matter of going, I'm just going to do what I need to do and talk to the people that I really need to be talking to, like my vendors and buyers, and I mean, just people that will call my phone anyway, versus that physically going out there and trying to drum up extra business at the moment.
Well, what I am seeing is more and more with the online auctions, and the O'Brien TV has been a success. It's been fantastic, and really, I've been watching a lot of online auctions, and a lot of them have been appalling. So working with that and seeing how we can better improve that is because I think even when we get through COVID, I think there'll be a component of online which will come into all our auctions. So working with the online, working with auctioneers that want to use this time to actually upskill, and Stav, take my hat off to you that our weekly conversations that we have, we go in all sorts of directions, but I think I'm getting a lot out of that, so I hope you are as well. So staying connected, making sure I'm planning, Daz, that's really what it's about, making sure you plan, because there is free time, and also reaching out to a lot of family and friends that, that I haven't been able to do for some time. So that's really what I'm looking forward to, getting out and playing some golf.
That would be nice. You can come over and smack some balls in my range at the back.
I've seen a little bit of a video of you doing that. Yes.
We won't touch on that one. All right. There's a couple of decisions to make. Helen from Direct Connect, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go on. You got to choose the wackiest hat.
There's a lot of good ones, and they're very funny. But Anna Molinari, there's a lot of effort that's gone into making that hat. So, well done. You are the winner.
So $100 college live outfit, and Gavin from Active Pipe.
Thank you so much, Helen.
A lot of good questions, guys, and great session, and great to see that you're all supporting each other across the industry. I have to give it to Sam just based on volume of questions. So, Sam, you just need your details via Hutch. We'll organise. I need what. Sam and Michelle need to know what kind of grog you want and
$100
where to send it. So an Uberman will deliver in the next day or so.
And here's your chance, Gav, to get rid of a couple of hundred battered sabs and
Yeah.
potato cakes.
It's actually potato cakes.
So, yeah, look, as I started with, guys, you know, there's a great opportunity at the moment to connect with a lot of people that you don't normally connect with. So let's get around one another and let's come out of this stronger than we went into it. So well done for jumping on, and we'll see you all again next Wednesday.
Great work, team. Take care.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thanks, Darren. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
See you guys.
Everyone, thanks.